Hi, I'm Wendy Murdoch. I'm an international riding instructor and clinician and a Feldenkrais practitioner. In 1984, a horse flipped over backwards and rolled over me and punched my femur through my hip socket. And then he kicked me between the legs when he got up. I wound up in the hospital, and when I was in there, I was in traction for 10 days. And a friend of mine came and gave me a newsletter called the Tellington Jones Equine Awareness Method. I met Linda Tellington Jones in 1985, a year after my accident, and she introduced me to the Feldenkrais method, which is what she combined with her horse knowledge to create T-Touch and Team. I have studied Feldenkrais for over 16 years, and it has changed my life because it's given me back the mobility that I lost in that accident. I would go to people and I'd ask them, how can I ride? And they just didn't have answers for me because they didn't know what to do with a body that had been that badly injured. So I studied the Feldenkrais method and had Feldenkrais lessons, and I realized I could use this in my teaching to help other riders achieve their potential and hopefully avoid the kind of injuries that I had. So over the years, I've employed Feldenkrais and used it just all of my lessons and everything I do, and I thought, I need to make a course for my people, for my riders, to help you understand the Feldenkrais method and how it can apply to riding and improve your relationship with your horse. Because the horse can only do with his body what we can do with ours. And if we can't do the movements that he needs to do, then he's going to have to compensate. And all we have is this body with a skeleton, and if we're unaware of how we can use this in a really efficient way, then we just struggle with our riding. This course is to help you improve in your riding and your own function, and hopefully in your relationship with your horse. Kara, we're going to find out if where you think you are in space is where you are. In other words, there's a proprioceptive map that we have of our body and our brain, and sometimes it gets a little faulty. So when we're riding, it really influences what we're doing on the horse because it affects our weight. So just scoot a little forward and have your feet flat on the floor. Okay, and extend both arms out in front of you. Okay, and you can make soft fists. Okay, and then you're going to close your eyes and put one arm up to 45 degrees and one arm down 45. Okay, so you're going to keep the elbow straight, and you're going to, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Great. Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, and we've got to leave you here for a moment with your eyes closed. So it's really important you keep your eyes closed because as humans, we're so driven by our vision. Okay. So, if you carry your purse on one shoulder, or you, like in the barn, you're always carrying the water buckets in one hand, that proprioceptive map gets altered. And we don't notice it because, the whole idea is that it's our own body. We can function in that body. We can manage around corners and not run into door jams and things like that. But when we get on the horse, it really affects the horse because the map isn't accurate. So in a moment, not yet, in a moment, I will ask you to bring your hands level without touching them together, keeping your eyes closed. And when I ask you to open your eyes, please leave your hands where they are, okay? So in a moment, not quite yet, we're just gonna make sure that we've got our little pre-idea, okay? All right, so now bring your hands level without touching them together, keeping your eyes closed, and then open your eyes. And are they level? No. Okay, so you can rest your arms. So that's the thing is, people think that this is level because, we've carried a purse on one shoulder, or we've, favored one leg, or driving our car, and then we get on the horse and we think this is level. And then we wonder why the horse can't do what we ask because we're not in the middle of gravity. Our weight's not in the middle. And then, of course, our instructor yells at it, raise one hand, and we move it up a tiny bit. And to us, it's huge. It feels like we've moved it up like miles. But to the instructor, it's barely moved, and they're still yelling at us. Because our map is super sensitive. It's really important that it's sensitive. That's how we function in the world. But when it comes to riding, we typically won't do as much as the instructor thinks we need to do to get in the middle, because to us, it feels huge. It feels really wrong. So that's where doing Feldenkrais lessons can really help, because it helps us become better at knowing where our body is in space, improving our proprioceptive map, giving us more choices, and then we can find the middle on our horse, which really helps our horse do what we want. So thanks, Kara, for playing along with us.